Hey there, this is Miss Robin, and I thought I'd try this test a different way. So, this is our Unit 2, Week 5 test. Directions: read the passage 4 short weeks before answering numbers 1 through 5. 4 short weeks. Audra scanned the directions for her social studies assignment. As her teacher read, they were supposed to research and report on one of the 50 states. The project was due in 1 month and included a 5-page report, a poster, and an oral report, meaning a report that you gave that you got up and said to the class. Audra feared that she would never complete this in 4 short weeks. Mrs. Peterson, do you have any advice for starting this project? Audra asked. She tried to console herself a little, though she couldn't soothe herself much. Mrs. Peterson smiled as she explained. Plan how you will complete each part of the project and write your plan down. Break the assignment into smaller pieces and do not wait until the last minute to start. Later that afternoon, Audra walked through her front door and almost ran into her older brother, Gus. Sorry, Audra muttered as she dug her directions for the project out of her backpack and put them on the dining room table. Then she plopped on a chair and began to contract or become smaller into a little ball. So there is a definition context clue. It's telling you what contract means. She wished she had someone to commiserate with about the project so that they could each express sorrow for the other. Is something wrong? Gus asked, sitting down beside her. Why do teachers subject us to difficult assignments? Audra wailed. This assignment is due in a month, and I will never finish it on time. Gus smiled and said, Let me see if I can help you. Audra slid the directions towards him, and Gus skimmed the top sheet. Audra, this is not so bad, Gus began. When Audra started to protest, he put up his hand to stop her. I am not trying to bluff you, because it is a big project, and you will have to work hard. But you can break the project down into little ones with shorter due dates. Gus pulled a blue notebook from the desk drawer. He said, Today is October 1, and the entire project is due October 30th. If you spend 1 week each of the 4 parts, you will finish the project on time. Audra watched as Gus opened the book and drew a 2-column chart. In the left column, he wrote the requirement for the project. In the right column, he wrote a date that was a few weeks before the final due date of the project, for the project. So here's the table. Requirement, due date for each part. 5-page research report typed, due October 15th. Oral presentation, 2 to 3 minutes in length, October 29th. As Audra looked at Gus's schedule, she began to feel as though this project might be possible after all. For the next 4 weeks, Audra followed Gus's schedule. Whenever she started to feel overwhelmed, she looked at the schedule and relaxed. It would all get done, she told herself, and she was right. The night before the project's due date, Audra thanked her brother with the following poem. Racing thoughts, beating heart, what to do, how to start, wringing hands and the hours late, 4 short weeks to by due date. Gus arrives to save the day, make a date each week away, plan to do 1 thing each week, suddenly it's not so bleak. Thanks to Gus, there's time to spare. I even wrote a rhyme to share. If you plan, you'll get things done and even have some time for fun. Okay, directions say, now answer numbers 1 through 5. Base your answers on 4 short weeks. Read the sentence from the passage. She tried to console herself a little, though she couldn't soothe herself much. Which definition fits the word console as it's used in the sentence above? Well, I noticed that it says she tried to console herself, and then it says she couldn't soothe herself. So I think console means something like soothe. So I can eliminate A and B. I'm trying to decide if soothe and console mean close to comfort or help. Please choose your answer, go back in the passage, and underline this sentence as your evidence, and number it. Of course, you can press pause to do that, but I'm going to move on. After you've pushed play again, I'm going to move on to number 2. What is responsible for changing Audra's attitude from hopeless to cautiously hopeful? Select 2 choices. All right. Now, it didn't really say anything about her past experiences, so you probably could eliminate that. It didn't say anything about her brother's past experiences, so you could eliminate that. So you need to choose 2 between C, her conversation with her brother, D, the chart her brother makes for her, E, her conversation with Mrs. Peterson. F, the directions on her class assignment. Choose two of those and then go back in the passage and underline where it talked about in the beginning of the passage what her brother told her to do. You can pause to do this. Number 3. The question has two parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Read the sentence from the passage. Why do teachers subject us to difficult assignments? Audra wailed. The definition fits subject. Which definition fits subject as it is used in the sentence above? Choices are A, topic, B, one who is ruled over, C, forced to suffer through, D, something that is studied. Okay. Well, if I break the word subject apart, I know sub is the Greek root word for under, and ject is the Greek root word for throw. So subject means to throw under, okay? So I could eliminate A, and even because it says nothing about a topic, and then it doesn't say anything, of anybody being ruled over. So you need to choose between C or D. What's the closest to throw under? C, forced to suffer through, or D, something that is studied. Something else that you could do is you could try C and D, where the underlined word is in the sentence, to see which one makes the most sense. Please push pause to eliminate, and then go back and underline this sentence in the passage as your evidence. And don't forget to number it number 3. Number 3, part B. Which sentence uses the word subject in the same way as it's used in part A? A, what is your favorite subject in school? B, please do not subject me to this boring movie. C, the cows in the field are interesting subjects to paint. D, this ruler is much kinder to his subjects than the last one was. Okay, well, it really doesn't say anything about anybody, a king or a ruler of any kind, so I can eliminate D. You need to figure out which other answer to eliminate. Then you need to choose between the two remaining answers as far as which one uses subject in the same way as you chose for 3, part A. By the way, your evidence that you already underlined for number 3, part A, could also be used as evidence for part B. Please push pause at this time to answer the question. Number 4, put the events from the passage in the correct sequence by numbering them from 1 to 4. Which of the correct number, write the correct number in front of each event. So, if you're thinking back through the story to what happened first, just to get you started, the first thing that would happen here, because it says Audra finishes her report, Audra reads her poem, Audra makes a plan, Audra gets her assignment. Well, I know the inciting incident was started off, this whole thing about her worrying about it getting done was her getting the assignment. So this would be number 1. So you would put a number 1 there. After that, you need to decide what happens second and put a number 2 next to it. Third, put a number 3 next to it. And 4, and put a number 4 next to it. Please also underline these or at least one of these events in the passage for your evidence. I'll be checking. Press pause to do this now. Number 5. This question has 2 parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. What is the theme of 4 short weeks? A. When feeling overwhelmed, it is good if others feel the same way. B. When completing a large project, it is good to have a plan. C. Nothing is done well if it's left to the last minute. D. Older brothers have all the answers. Okay, well, you want to think about theme as a lesson that we could apply to our lives. A is not positive. It's not a lesson we'd want to learn, that it's okay for other people to be hurting like we are. So I could eliminate A. It also didn't talk about lots of older brothers had answers, so I could eliminate D. You need to choose between B and C. Both of them actually could be right. You have to pick which one is the better answer. Okay, after you've done that, please go back into the passage and find evidence at the very end of the passage. That's usually where the evidence for theme is, and underline it and number it. Just a hint, whatever your evidence would be to prove this theme, is going to be one of these sentences below in part B. So once you've decided which sentence it is, evidence will be the same for 5 part A and 5 part B. Speaking of part B, here we go. Which sentence from the passage best supports the theme? A, break the assignment into smaller pieces and do not wait until the last minute to start. B, this assignment is due in a month and I will never finish it on time. C, Audra slid the directions towards him and Gus skimmed the top of the sheet. D, when Audra started to protest, he put up his hand to stop her. Okay, now, you need to think about what you answered here in part A, and you need to figure out which sentence down here matches that theme. And then that would be your evidence in the passage that you could number for number 5. Please push pause at this time to eliminate and underline your evidence. On passage 2, read the passage, The Big Contest, before answering numbers 6 through 10. The Big Contest. By the way, you can always rewind back through this video in order to go back and read and find evidence in the passage. Okay, back to the big contest. We will win this contest, Jose bragged to Aisha at recess. I don't want to have a dispute with you because a quarrel won't get us anywhere. But I disagree, Aisha said. How can we win? We're not experts. Why did the 5th grade pick us to represent everyone in the big bake-off? You should give us more credit, Jose said. We're capable kids who can follow directions, so we should be able to use a recipe. The contest has many different categories, and I have a plan. Aisha remembered the last time she listened to Jose's big plan. They had gotten into trouble because Jose made his own rules, and they were thrown out of the contest altogether. Aisha, are you listening to me? Asked Jose. Aisha shook herself back into the present and asked, what is your plan? We will bake a gigantic cake that will be larger than all the other cakes. It will be so huge that we will get the prize for the biggest cake, he said. It won't matter what it tastes like. Aisha said, that is an excellent plan, Jose, and I think you are on to something. The next day, Aisha and Jose went to the grocery store and bought the ingredients for the gigantic cake. At Aisha's house, they set everything on the counter and started working. We will bake a few square cakes at a time, and then we will put them together and spruce them up with a lot of frosting, Aisha said. Aisha measured flour, sugar, baking soda, and other ingredients, while Jose cracked eggs into a bowl. They mixed the batter, poured it into the pans, and placed 2 pans in the oven. While those cakes were in the oven, they started on the next batch and worked until 2 rows of cakes stood on the table and a huge bowl of frosting was made. The kids slumped against the counter, for they were very tired. My back hurts, moaned Jose as he put all the cakes on a large board. I'll never be able to stand up straight again. Aisha brushed a strand of hair from her eyes before spreading the frosting on the cake. The next day, with the help of Aisha's father and Jose's mother, the 2 kids took the huge cake to school. They left it on one of the special tables set up in the cafeteria for the contest, surrounded by many smaller cakes. That day felt like the longest school day ever. Finally, it was the last period of the day and time for the contest to begin. All of the students at the school went to the cafeteria, where they watched as the judges tasted each of the cakes. Jose and Aisha saw the judges, but they couldn't tell what the judges were thinking. Both kids waited with their hearts pounding. Well, now the judging is over, and I'm really nervous, Aisha said. Maybe putting regular cakes together won't count as one cake, she fretted. Jose didn't reply because he was worried too. One of the judges cleared his throat and announced, the prize for the biggest cake goes to Aisha Thomas and Jose Mora, representing the 5th grade. I told you we were bound to win, said Jose said to Aisha with a smile. I never doubted it for a minute. Number 6. Now answer numbers 6 through 10. Base your answers on the big contest. Circle the paragraph that shows how Jose plans to win the contest. Aisha remembered the last time she listened to Jose's big plan. They had gotten into trouble because Jose had made his own rules, and they were thrown out of the contest altogether. Aisha, are you listening to me? Asked Jose. Aisha took herself back into the present and asked, "What is your plan?" "We will bake a gigantic cake, and it will be larger than any of the other cakes. It will be so huge that we will get a prize for the biggest cake," he said. "It won't matter what it tastes like." Aisha said, "That's an excellent plan, Jose. I think you're onto something." Okay, so the question is, circle the paragraph that shows how Jose plans to win the contest. So you need to find, even if you need to rewind and re-listen, which of these paragraphs, this paragraph, this paragraph, there's paragraph, this paragraph, or this paragraph that tells how Jose plans to win. You can even eliminate paragraphs that you don't think it could be. So pause right now to eliminate what you don't think it could be, circle what it could be, and then go back and find that paragraph in the text, underline and number it number 6. On to number 7. Read the sentence from the passage. While those cakes were in the oven, they started on the next batch and worked until 2 rows of cakes stood on the table and a huge bowl of frosting was made. Which definition fits the word rows as it's used in the sentence above? Okay, so you think of rows of something. It doesn't have to be rows of cakes. It could be rows of fences or rows of corn. So let's think about this. Which definition fits the word rows as it's used in the sentence above? A, streets or ways. B, moves with oars. C, noisy quarrels or disturbances. D, objects arranged in straight lines. Well, right away, I know I could eliminate moves with oars because that's talking about rows on a boat, and we're not talking about that here. So after you've eliminated B, please find another answer to eliminate, then choose between the two that are left. After you're done, go back in the passage and find this paragraph in the passage, underline it, and number it number 7 for your evidence. Number 8, select 2 reasons why Aisha most likely trusts Jose in his plan. A, Jose is her friend. B, Jose can bake well. C, Jose always has good ideas. D, Jose's plan makes sense to her. E, she knows what the judges want. And F, she has made many cakes before. Okay, well, she knows Jose can't bake well. She even said that, so I can eliminate B. She also knows that Jose does not always have good ideas. In fact, apparently, his last idea had gotten them in trouble, so I can eliminate C. So you have to pick 2 answers from A, D, E, or F. If you need to rewind to re-listen to those options, please do. But right now, after you've eliminated B and C, please choose 2 answers from A, D, E, and F, and then go back and find that information in the passage, underline it, and number it with the number 8. Please pause now to do this. Number 9, read the definition, to leap or jump. Which word from the passage means sure, and also is a homograph for the word defined above? Okay, well, let's think about this. The answers are A, round, B, contest, C, count, D, trouble. So you got to think, which word here could mean sure and could also mean leap or jump? Well, I know that trouble does not mean leap or jump. I know this count does not mean leap or jump, so I can eliminate those 2. You decide between A and B. After you've done that, you need to go back in passage and find that word. And I believe, looking right now, you want to look in the last few sentences in the last paragraph of the passage to find the word you're looking for and the evidence that you need to underline and number for number 9. Please pause now to do this. Number 10. This question has 2 parts. First answer part A, then answer part B. Part A, what is the theme of the big contest? A, big big things are always better than small things. B, you will always win if you follow directions. C, having a plan helps to achieve goals. D, always listen to your friends. All right, well, she didn't always listen to her friends, so we can eliminate D. And there's nothing in there that said that big things are always better than small things. There wasn't two different stories where big things were better than small things, so we can eliminate A and D. You need to choose the theme from B and C. And then below, part B, which sentence from the passage best supports the theme? So from either one of these themes, B, you will always win if you follow directions, or C, having a plan helps to achieve goals, you need to decide which sentence down here is evidence that supports that theme. The answer choices are A, we are capable kids who can follow directions, so we should be able to use a recipe. B, Aisha said, that is an excellent plan, Jose. I think you are onto something. C, the kids slumped against the counter for they were very tired. Or D, Aisha brushed a strand of hair from her eyes before spreading the frosting on the cake. You need to pick two options to eliminate and then pick the evidence, text evidence that supports the theme that you chose in part A. Then go back in the passage and underline that sentence in the passage for your evidence for number 10. Please pause at this time to do that. All right, last question. It's an extended response question. And remember, we use rule. So you're going to want to write rule here on the side of your paper. I'll probably have it written on the board as well. But remember, R stands for read, U underline, L label, E everything, which means answer, evidence 1, and evidence 2. So read the question. It says, now answer number 11. Base your answer on 4 short weeks and the big contest. Number 11, it says specifically, this is a question. Using details from both texts, compare the themes for 4 short weeks and the big contest. Now, I see a power verb, okay? Using. So you need to put a box around using. Use what? Using details from both texts. So put a box around using and underline details from both texts. I also see compare. Put a box around compare. Compare what? The themes. So put a box around compare and underline the themes. Alrighty. Now we have read it. We have underlined, so you can put a check mark next to R and U. Now label. We've got 2 boxes, so we're going to have 2 parts. Put an A at the top, come down halfway down, and put a B. Now in A, what I suggest you do is tell me how the themes, tell me how the themes in both texts are alike, because that's what compare means. Compare like a pair of shoes, they're alike. So in part A, tell me how the themes in both stories are alike. Then in part B, choose sentences from the text, both of them, both passage 1 and passage 2, copy them out of the text, use the text, copy straight from it so you can spell everything correctly, and use those as your evidence. Best of luck. I know you all are going to do great. I know you always work hard. So make sure you are always being true to yourself and giving your best effort.